Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Dan. This is Shamatha meditation in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Is anyone in this class for the first time? Welcome. Welcome, you guys. And glad you're with us. Thanks to everyone who's here, including those watching at home. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and type anything in the chat box at any time. And after the meditations, I'll try to get to your questions. So this is now week 7. We just have one more week to go after this. Come on in, everyone. So you can think of this as sort of the 2-part season finale, starting this week and ending next week. For everyone who's been here more or less since the beginning, okay. Congratulations for making it this far. And yeah, it's been a ride. And let's see. Oh yeah, so appreciate everyone for coming. And this week we are getting into some unique territory. So I hope you guys can have fun with it and don't take it too seriously. Just think of it as an exploration. Don't worry too much about getting it right. But so far we've been looking at shamatha with signs. So we've had a designated object as the focus of our attention. These last 2 meditations are shamatha without a sign. So there is no specific object of meditation. This label can apply to non-meditation. It can apply to like open awareness meditation. You're just sitting with whatever comes up. Yeah. And or like some of the techniques you might have tried in Zen or mindfulness practice. But the danger with these practices is that it's easy to miss the point. And so if you're just sitting there thinking about stuff or daydreaming, or you doze off to take a nap, or you just go into like a state of just like oblivion, mental oblivion, and zoning out. There's really no advantage to doing those kind of things in a meditation posture, versus doing those kind of things on the couch, just daydreaming on the couch. Or if you're going to take a nap in meditation posture versus taking a nap in bed, you're not going to really get a benefit. So one thing I like about, so there's a quote from Dujum Lingpa. He was a Tibetan meditator, teacher a couple hundred years ago. And he says, while the marmot seems to be practicing meditation, like this, it's actually just hibernating. So that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to hibernate. We actually want to meditate. So what I like about Padmasambhava's approach, come on in, to this kind of meditation, to shamatha without a sign, is that he keeps it more dynamic. So you kind of alternate the meditation instructions, and it's also kind of going a little deep. It's more of a deep exploration, because in these 2 meditations, in the flow of the book, he's preparing us for the next section, which is Vipassana, insight meditation. So these 2 meditations, this week and next week, kind of start to bridge that gap. So first, we need to cover a concept we haven't had a chance to totally cover yet in prior classes. And even if we had, we'd want to review it because it's kind of key to this class, is relaxed attention versus intense concentration. So in this class, we've been pretty much doing relaxed attention. We've been trying to, when we get distracted, we want to come back gently to the object of focus. The reason for that is early in meditation, the main cause of distraction is agitation and restlessness. So it's kind of counterintuitive, because you think when you get distracted by that, you should bear down and really focus harder. But what that does is basically you're agitating this kind of, the analogy is a monkey. So the monkey is agitated. So if you fight the monkey, he's going to get more agitated. Whereas when you get distracted, you come back with relaxed, gentle attention, then you're calming the monkey. So the other extreme is intense concentration. And you need this sometimes in later stages of meditation, or just if you're really tired. That's represented by an elephant. So here you're trying to push the elephant. So you're really focusing. So you guys have all done intense concentration before. One simple example is if you've ever been tired and you're looking at your finger, and then your finger kind of like splits into 2, and then if you really focus hard, then it goes back to 1 finger. because your eyes are kind of splitting it. A more practical example is if you're driving and you're tired, and you know that it's really important that you pay attention to the road, or even though your body is trying to like pull you into a fog, it's very important that you pay attention to the road and don't crash and don't kill somebody. So you kind of push through that fog and make sure that you pay attention to the road. Or if this happens to me, if a cop pulls behind you, and then and especially if you forgot to put your new tags on, so your registration's expired on the tags, and so you're just really driving careful, making sure that you don't go over the speed limit, making sure you signal, making sure you do everything perfectly so that you don't get pulled over. So we all have done intense concentration before, when we're just kind of trying to push through that fog and really concentrate hard. So with the elephant, it's not counterintuitive that you focus your concentration when you're trying to push through that. The only thing that's kind of counterintuitive with that approach is that you take breaks. So it's just like if you're driving on a long road trip and you're really tired, you push through the fog for a while, but then you pull off the road, take a little power nap, get back on the road. You don't want to sit there for 8 hours trying to push through the fog, or eventually the fog is going to overcome you. So we can go ahead and give this a try. If you just raise your finger and breathe slowly, and just on the inhale, concentrate your attention. On the exhale, just relax your attention, just gentle attention on your finger, and then inhale, concentrate, and then relax. Exhale. On the exhale, just relax your attention. So there might not be a huge difference between those when you do it, but as long as you can see just a tiny bit of difference between when you're really, really making an effort to focus your attention and when you're relaxing your attention, that alternation, by alternating in that way, going back to the elephant and the monkey, on the inhale, you're giving that elephant a push. On the exhale, you're taking a little rest, and you're calming down the monkey a little bit. So this approach isn't necessarily the best in early stages of meditation when the monkey's really agitated, but when the monkey starts to calm down a little bit, and you want to keep that balance between the two extremes, one way to do that is to just keep alternating in this way. So any questions on this so far? Good. Next warm up will be a shamatha meditation on a physical object, which I just told you we weren't going to do, because it's a physical object, sort of. In Theravada meditation, they have 20 physical objects that can be focuses of your meditation. We did a rock, which was sort of symbolic of the earth element. One of them is called the limited space kasina, which basically they cut a hole in a piece of leather or a piece of wood, and then you meditate on the space. So you're not meditating on an object, you're actually meditating on a bounded space that's a lack of an object. So we're going to explore this a little bit, and I didn't make bounded space casinos for everyone to have to pass out. So we're just going to have to wing it. You can use your hand like this, or you can, just like everyone does these heart emojis, you can just make your best approximation of a circle. And so if you want to go ahead and do that, and then imagine that there's the way I like to work into this is first imagine that there's like a film, like a cellophane wrap over your hands, and focus on that cellophane wrap that's in between your hands. Then we're going to give our little hands a rest, and also in a minute we're going to move our hands away, and that cellophane wrap is just going to float there, and we're going to try to maintain our attention on it. It might not last for more than a second, but then go ahead and move your hands away. So two things are going to happen. Your visual focus is going to want to go to something else, and your mental attention is going to want to follow it. So it can be kind of tricky at first to learn the skill of being able to maintain your awareness on a spot of empty space. So we're going to do it one more time. This time, do the same thing we were doing earlier on the, yeah.
Notice my eyes wanting to cross.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah, well, your eyes aren't crossing. What's happening? Did you ever do you remember those posters that go 3D?
Yeah, the magic.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. So since you're focusing on a spot, then everything else is like doubling out. Yeah. So your eyes will go a little wiggy, and that's okay.
Oh, I know. I didn't mind it. I was just telling you.
Yeah. That's good. That means that you were able to have some success at meditating on an empty spot of space. Okay, so let's do it one more time. This time, on the inhale, you're going to concentrate, intense concentration, intensify your concentration. And on the exhale, you're going to relax your attention. And then move your hands away. And see if you can maintain it. So just by show of hands, how many people are having any degree of success with this, being able to meditate?
I am.
Yeah, okay, good. So everyone is having some success. Okay, so the next time we're going to do same thing, but imagine that the glass has some thickness to it. So we're just trying to kind of expand the space a little bit. And so you can either, if you want, you can just imagine just the empty space, or if you want more of a support, imagine that there's just there's glass in there that's so shiny and transparent, and not shiny, so transparent and translucent that you can't see it. Or you can just focus on that kind of a thicker space in between your hands. And then go ahead and concentrate more on the inhale. Relax your attention on the exhale. And when you're ready, move your hands away, and that glass is just going to stay there, and you're going to keep your awareness right on the glass. Okay, so now we're going to go with a different shape. This time it's a crystal ball. So it's kind of got this kind of shape. So you might want to spread your fingers out a little bit more and do something like that. And there's a crystal ball in your hands. Again, so clear that you can't see it, but that's the support. Or without support, just imagine a spherical, just focus your attention on that spherical region of space. Intensify your concentration on the inhale. Relax your attention on the exhale. And then when you're ready, you can move your hands away and see if you can maintain your attention on that spherical region of space or crystal ball. Okay, so how's everyone doing so far? Does anyone feel like they're having difficulty with this?
No, but this time I experienced that crisscrossing.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'm just trying to see if so I'm doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm imagining a crystal ball inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I have 4 hands, not 2. Right? It's like doubling up, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to imagine it. And when I take it away, it's like my eyes are still focused right on that point. So everything in the background is doubled up.
Yeah.
And it's like there's nothing there, but I can see my eyes still focusing like right there. Is that my intention?
Yeah, that's what you're trying to do with this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're just trying to.
Well, then I'm doing it.
Yeah. Good. If you were doing the Theravada meditation, you would be, looking at this, going, and I forgot to bring that up, but in the Theravada meditation, you also, while you're doing this, you go space, space, space to help you connect to that space. So we're not going to do that meditation today. This was just kind of a warm up to get you into the idea of being able to meditate on empty space, because that's what we're going to be. We're actually going to continue, which the empty space part does play into to our meditation, but we won't be doing any more with the limited area like that. But you can certainly do it on your own. So for the next round, what we're doing is we're going to for the next round, we're going to be expanding this space quite a bit. So everyone look to your left and look to your right. Make sure you're not going to hit anyone. Looks like the only people who are kind of close are you two, but I think you guys have room. Spread your arms out like this. And now that is the bounds of the crystal ball. So the crystal ball is out in front of you, encompassing everything that you see, like a giant snow globe. So it contains everything in it. Everything that you see is contained in it, but you're trying to focus your attention just on that giant space that encompasses everything. So you might want to lift your gaze a little bit. If your gaze is down, then it's cutting into the floor. The more you lift your gaze, you give it a little bit more room. So go ahead and focus on that for a little bit. And you don't have to keep your arms up if you get the idea of the size and the shape of the crystal ball.
Are we inside the crystal ball, or?
No, it's in front of you.
Okay.
So it's basically everything it's kind of coming out like that and going around. It's containing everything in your visual space, your periphery vision and everything in front of you. And then again, go ahead and intensify your concentration on the inhale and relax your attention on the exhale. So again, the purpose of that exercise was to introduce you to the concept of the space of awareness. So the snow globe was the space of your visual awareness. And there's a distinction made between the space of awareness and the appearances to awareness. So the space of awareness is everything that contains it. In this case, your visual awareness. And then the appearances to the awareness is all the shapes, colors, et cetera, that appear in that three-dimensional space. An analogy to this is kind of like a movie screen. So the movie screen is just there. That's sort of like the space that everything appears. And then all the impermanent shapes and colors and images, it's just one frame at a time, flicker onto that screen, and it makes the illusion that there's this movie, that there's this story, that all these things are happening. But whatever happens, if it's a sad movie, it doesn't affect the movie screen. If it's a happy movie, it doesn't affect the movie screen. If it's a violent movie and there's ninjas slicing things up with swords and guys with knives cutting them around, the movie screen doesn't get cut. If it's a war movie and there's guns and explosions and bombs, or if there's all kinds of fire, the movie screen doesn't get shot or damaged or burnt. And that space of awareness is not just the empty space, but it pervades everything in it. So, and of course it's three-dimensional. So with that, the typical analogy that's used is the sky. How when the clouds appear in the sky, they don't push the sky out of its way to make room for it. They just appear in the sky, dissolve in the sky, and the worst storm, the worst hurricane, the worst tornado can't damage the sky. So we'll look at this a little bit more. This is generally looked at as a way to connect to the unchanging, unstainable, the aspect of your awareness that can't be stained, damaged, harmed by any of the appearances that happen to be playing out inside of it. So that gets into kind of the benefit of doing this meditation. So we'll get started on our first full meditation. So we'll just be breathing slowly with different instructions for the inhale and the exhale. On the exhale, you're going to focus on that space, on that snow globe. And then on the inhale, you're going to change the focus of your concentration to everything that appears in that space. And then on the exhale, letting go of all the appearances and just back to the space, the giant crystal snow globe. And then on the inhale, again, back to all of the appearances of shapes, colors, forms, objects in that space, and just the visual. So any questions before we get started on that? Good.
So on the inhale, you still are objects. On the exhale, you sort of relax the gaze. So objects don't necessarily form into any sort of a discrete entity. Is that what you want to put it? Yeah,
I mean, we're not necessarily. We're not necessarily doing it in terms of letting go of concepts or not letting go of concepts, even though that might happen.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about the images of it.
Yeah. So that might happen for you. That because the way I would explain it is when on the exhale, you'll still see everything, and you might even see a chair as a chair, but you might not. But we don't care about it. We're not focusing our attention on it. We see it, but we're not looking at it. It's there, but we're not interested in it. Our attention is focused just on the space. Everything else that's in it is just secondary, adventitious. And then when we inhale, now we're letting go of the space and actually just we're really, like you would normally do, focusing on the stuff in the space. So at that point, if it wasn't a chair before and now it's a chair, then that would make sense. But depending on, it may or may not shift from chair to not chair, chair to not chair, or it may. It just depends on, your individual experience. And again, do the best you can. Don't worry if you're doing it right. And if you can notice a slight difference between what you're doing on the exhale and what you're doing on the inhale, then you're doing great. So any more questions before we get started? Okay. So it'll be a little less formal today. Any posture is okay, as long as your spine is straight and your posture is alert. You want it also to be relaxed and then stable. You don't want to have to be making any effort to keep your posture. We're going to start by reflecting on our motivation. So why are you practicing? What are you hoping to gain or accomplish from your practice? Or fine if there's nothing you want to accomplish. Then I've been throwing out little suggestions on motivation. This one's going to be a little more fun, or maybe not, depending on how it hits you. But try to imagine someone that you really, really don't like, really, really intensely dislike, if there's anyone that you can think of in that category. And suppose that you could see a glimpse of a future, and you found out that they were so inspired by your practice that they decided to start practicing too. They started practicing Buddhism or whatever your spiritual practice is, totally turned their life around, and they became a totally different person, prospered. Everything turned out great for them. Would that inspire you to practice, knowing that would happen, not make a difference one way or the other? Or would you not want to practice out of spite? Just reflect on that for a moment, if you want. And then you can just relax your body, let your breathing be natural, relax your mind for just a few moments. There's no need to focus on anything or do anything at all. Okay, so now go ahead and imagine that snow globe. If you want, you can put your arms out again and try to imagine the snow globe. Again, lift your gaze if you want a little more space. And then we'll do a couple breaths together. So on the inhale, focus on everything in that space. And then on the exhale, let go of everything in that space and just focus on the space. One more inhale, everything in the space. And then one more exhale, let go of everything in the space, and let go of everything and focus on the space. And so now go ahead and bring your arms back into meditation posture, and we'll get started on our meditation. Just keep doing that inhale, exhale variation. If you find you've been distracted, recognize whatever distracted you, let it go, relax your attention a little bit, and come back to the inhale-exhale pattern. So now we're going to add the, you might have already been doing this, but we're going to add the relaxed attention. Keep doing your inhale and exhale. Keep doing the meditation, but we're going to start doing on inhale, concentrated attention, intensify your concentration, and on exhale, relax your attention. So on the exhale, you're kind of stretching out, relaxing and stretching out into the space, kind of like you just got into a hot tub, and you're letting your arms and your legs kind of stretch out. And then on the inhale, you're intensifying your concentration, and it's kind of like at that point you're grabbing onto everything. The space has expanded out kind of like a net, and now you're grabbing onto everything in that space with your attention, sort of like the butterflies that got caught in your net. So for the rest of the meditation, vary that as you vary your focus on the inhale and exhale. If any of you are finding this difficult, remember to have fun with this. It's just an exploration. And also you're learning a new skill, so that's always going to be a little difficult at first. Okay, as you come out of meditation, you can reflect on your experience. Welcome, guys. You might be completely lost not knowing what we're doing, but you're welcome to join us.
Sorry we walked in late, but
It's okay. I'm not going to start over. Don't be offended. But welcome. Does anyone want to share their experience?
I've never meditated the whole time with my eyes open.
Mhm.
So that was absolutely a completely brand new experience. I've started off, meditation before looking at something, object, flame or something. Typically close my eyes, but it's interesting now. Like when I rub my eyes afterwards, I still have this silhouette, like almost like a negative image of this Buddhist statue. Like when I close my eyes, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So did you notice? That's interesting because I was noticing that too in this meditation. When we did the rock meditation several weeks ago, we warned of weird things that can happen with your vision if you're looking at the same object too long.
Yeah.
And when I was up here this time, I was noticing like the whole room was kind of starting to fade a little bit. So did you notice what was the progression as you were meditating?
Well, I wasn't looking like directly at the statue. I was kind of looking like at the bottom part and the tabletop it's sitting on, kind of, and everything else around that. But my vision would kind of sometimes blur a little bit, almost like focus, non-focus type of thing. I think I got lost in thought like 2 or 3 times, gravitated back. One of the times you had mentioned something, which
good.
back as well. And then I did catch there was once where I noticed I averted my eyes over, kind of just looking around, because I wasn't sure if I was supposed to keep my eyes open the whole time at one point, so I kind of looked.
Oh, you want to see if everyone else had their eyes open? Yeah. I used to do that in church. Like, oh, is everybody praying? Oh, all their eyes are closed.
Yeah, different experience, and but it was. I felt the benefits of it afterwards. Like I feel more emotionally regulated as opposed to when I first came in here, for sure.
Good. Good. That's excellent. Did I hear someone concur that?
Yeah, it was very strange to me. I've never done a meditation like that. And every time I concentrated, like things got clearer because everything was in my periphery. So nothing was like entirely clear. But then every time I had my outward breath, it all got hazy, but I could see the space of it all.
Yeah.
And then at some point, my vision locked into like, not double vision, like it was just that haze, but I could see everything, but not, I don't know, it was weird. And then the weirdest thing for me was usually with just Zen meditation, like thought, drop it, thought, drop it, thought, drop it, thought, drop it, and that's the practice. It's like water dripping on the stone. This one, like, I only had one major intrusive thought, and it was major. Like, I felt the physiology of my body, like, release, like, not in a good way. But I wasn't afraid. I was just like, oh, what's up, thought? And then I said, okay, we got to get back to meditation. But I felt it. Like, I felt my heart rate.
Wow.
I felt.
Does that normally happen to you? Or do you think that was related to meditation?
I mean, I do have a fair amount of anxiety right now, but like that thought triggered it, but I felt it. You know what I mean? And I felt it go back down when I just started meditating. And I don't know if this makes sense, but I felt like during the inhale of my meditation, my hemispheres were firing differently than my exhale.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like I felt a weird electricity kind of going in my head. And that may all sound woo to you guys, but like it was weird to me.
Yeah. Well, I hope it was good weird.
It was different.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if it was good yet. We'll see.
Okay. Well,
it depends on the outcome of the integration. But that was.
I'll take neutral weird as long as it's not bad weird.
Well, you don't know till
But we actually covered that for a little bit last week. Nyam, which means any experience that arises while you're meditating. So it could be pleasant, it could be unpleasant. But one of my meditation teachers used to say that you're with these, especially if you're meditating for longer times, but even with some of these techniques, you're dredging the depths of your psyche, is what he would say.
It was
So
crazy to watch it arise.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
body get like messed up for a
Mhm.
second and then just go bye.
Yeah.
You know, instead of like the tiny thoughts that cycle with Zen, this was like a big one. This was like, you know, an X that like really did a number on me, and it just like, and then it went, all right, bye.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, like it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Like that was weird to me.
If you do this meditation again, that could happen again. It could be something good. It could be something bad.
Yeah,
but
we're open for anything. It was just crazy to watch it happen.
Yeah.
You know, like,
so instead of having the drip, 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 you had like a just the giant gush of.
But everything else, like I was concentrating very much, which is very hard for me. Like,
Good.
I've been meditating for years, and there's always the
monkey
mind just going. You know.
Yeah. Well,
interesting. Very interesting.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, perhaps because I'm practicing just sitting with what I've read, I found for me it seemed that the shifting from more intense concentration to the relaxation, that shifting was a disturbance, so that in fact it made me prone to more thinking, if you will, getting off into things of the day that there were significant things, but you're getting off because of that shifting going on.
Okay. Did you, so you didn't notice any changes, any progression, anything as you meditated longer?
No, well, I did notice that, the images became clearer, if you will.
Yeah.
And then less clear, so to speak, like peripheral vision on the exhale. I noticed that, but that was nice to notice, experience that. But no, I found that it really didn't change for me. But that's maybe but the fact that there was disturbance and I would get off anyway, that kept me from progressing along meditation, right?
Okay, well, thanks for trying it, and we'll see. We'll add more to it, so maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Notice
how
things change for me.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I can share a little bit. I made a mistake actually. I was very distracted today. Usually when I go into meditation, I take my phone away, don't use it, try to relax before starting the meditation. So I'm in a calm state. Today I didn't do it. So I was connected, and when the meditation started, I was completely distracted. So I closed my eyes instead of having my eyes open.
Okay.
And even during the meditation, usually I have a really good time of focus. But today, because I started already distracted, my focus moment was very short period.
Yeah.
So I always need to reset and go focus and then reset. It was very brief moments.
Yeah, that's totally fine though. You didn't mess up. I mean, other than you were supposed to have your eyes open, but it still sounds like a really productive meditation. Sometimes when you have a bad meditation, that's really a good meditation because that means you were in a place where you needed it. And if it was rough waters, still hopefully you calm those waters a little bit. So if you're in a calm mood, you might think you had a great meditation, but you're already in a calm mood. So the meditation wasn't as necessary. Whereas if you're in a more rough place in your mind, the meditation might seem like it didn't go well, but you actually needed it more because you were in a rough place. So you can't judge the quality of a meditation by its cover. Thanks for sharing that. And anyone else?
I think I messed up too. But you had talked about capturing everything with a net, and after that, for some reason, my eyes were kind of wandering everywhere. After that, though, I kind of chilled out a little bit. And with the out breaths, I don't know, calm myself. I would say, which I think you said that was the break, but for me that was more like the meditation really
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just very interesting though.
Well, in this particular meditation, it's not necessarily the break, but in that pattern of going back and forth from intense concentration to relaxed attention, to intense concentration, to relaxed attention, that gives you more of a break in your attention. But going from the space of awareness to the contents of awareness and back and forth from that, that's not a break. And like you said, the space of awareness can actually be more challenging because it's what you're not used to. So yeah, that's totally fine. And any other questions or comments? Because I wanted to say this is actually one of my favorite meditations. What I like about it is, for me, and I actually had a great, I wish everyone could sit up here and do the meditation from here, because it's a beautiful symmetrical, there's the windows and there's the lights and there's the fans spinning. But what I like about this meditation is, if I were just to sit here and try to focus on everything going on in my visual field, I would probably have tunnel vision and not be able to catch everything. But something about the expanding and releasing the space on the exhale, and then it's like my attention kind of grows. And then on the inhale, kind of grabbing everything in that space, I get like a bigger picture, a more expansive focus every time I do that. And then by the end of the meditation, it's kind of like I see everything. I see all the motion, and I see all the windows, and I see all the lights. And so I really like how, for me, it gets progressive like that, where I get kind of deeper into it the more that I do it. So I was happy to teach you guys that one, because I really, really love it. And let me check YouTube. Recommend. When would you recommend doing a meditation like this?
Totally driving.
Yeah, well, actually, I was going to mention later that this is one of the meditations that Gaicho Rinpoche, in the book that we're going through, he recommends this meditation as one of the ones you can do off the cushion. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, but you can do this off the cushion, maybe with a little bit of caution, because you're actually aware of what's going on. You wouldn't want to do the rock meditation, for example, as you're driving. You don't want to have like a rock dangling from your windshield and then you crash into something. But if you're aware of everything that's going on around you, then you should be okay. The other one that he recommends is for off the cushion is what we did last week with the breathing, paying attention to your breath and doing the om ahum. But again, it's if you're meditating, and I think we had some. Okay, yeah, that's what she was going for there with the wind. So yeah, you can obviously, on the cushion is a great time to do it. But off the cushion, this can be a good practice. And I think of all the meditations that we've covered, this I think is the best one to do off the cushion. I do this a lot on the cushion, off the cushion. So what Gaicho Rinpoche actually says, don't do this exact meditation with the variation. He just says, when you get off the cushion, try to maintain that awareness of the space of awareness, and that distinction between this is the space of awareness, and it's more like you're kind of identifying with the space of awareness. So it helps you put some distance between what's appearing in your awareness. You're the space that can't be harmed. You're the space that can't be shaken. You're the space that can't be stained. And everything that appears in your awareness is just impermanent and arises and passes away in that space. So on that, and anything more before I move on? Yeah.
Well, it's got to do with language. And, we talked about how hard it is often to get language of things. And it seems to me, when your vision spreads to the peripheral, then that's what it's an expansion of awareness. Then your awareness, not attention, but then when on the other thing, you sort of, although you're not specifically trying to pay attention more, you get more specific images and outlines and so on and so forth. It fits more into the attention aspect of it. Better like focus, but not really focusing. But the thing is, it's not attention but awareness that expands.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, you could say your attention expands. You could say your awareness expands. But again, it's your choice of language.
Well, attention seems to have to do with focus, and that's why I have a problem with it.
Okay.
For me.
But if you have a flashlight, you can focus it, or you can. Yeah, I mean, I see where you're having the problem. Because to me, I would say your focus goes from like a focused flashlight to like a expanded. But then I see your point that that's no longer focus. I'm going to move on because I didn't realize it was this late. We only have 11 minutes left, and we have to get to one more meditation. So thanks for all the good comments. And I wanted to just say really quick, so I just already covered that connecting to the space of awareness, but I wanted to read what Jujum Lingpa writes about space. He's using space as an analogy for that part of awareness or consciousness that can't be harmed. So he argues it has the 7 Vajra qualities required for something to be classified as permanent, independent, and beyond causes and conditions. So in Vajrayana, that's what the Vajra in Vajrayana is, this belief that there is an aspect of awareness that is permanent and independent of causes and conditions, which does go against some of the earlier Buddhist teachings. So this is from Buddhahood Without Meditation by Jujum Lingpa, translated by B.L. and Wallace, published by Wisdom Publications. This space cannot be injured, so it is invulnerable. Space cannot be conquered or destroyed, so it is indestructible. Space abides as the ground of appearances of the phenomenal world, so it is real. Space cannot be affected by good or bad qualities, so it is incorruptible. Space is unmoving and unfluctuating, so it is stable. Space can penetrate even the minutest particles, so it is unobstructable. Space cannot be harmed by anything whatsoever, so it is completely invincible. So again, going back to the movie screen, that can't be harmed by any of those things. So for the next meditation, we're going to try for the full space of awareness, not just the space of visual awareness. So I'm going to do a quick guided meditation to get us into that. And then if that's too much, then at the end of it, you can go back to just what we did last time, the space of visual awareness, or you can do the space of your entire awareness and appearances to awareness. So go ahead and get in your meditation posture. And start out by relaxing your body, natural breath, and relax your mind, relax your attention. And we'll need to get into this kind of quickly. So go ahead and close your eyes. And just focus your attention now on, and I'm sure you guys have all done this before, on the space of your mind. So the space of thoughts, memories, daydreams, stories, and imaginations. And as you're focusing on that space of the mind, anything that comes up is just an appearance to the space of the mind, appearance to awareness, just like clouds in the sky, dissolving back in the sky. So just keep your focus for a moment on the space of the mind. So like the sky, the space of the mind can't be stained or harmed by the clouds, however stormy, windy, or full of thunder. Now go ahead and expand that space. You can keep your eyes closed. Expand that space to include the space of your body. So now feelings and emotions, if you didn't have those, if you didn't categorize that as your mind, include those now. Any aches and pains in your body, maybe good feelings in your body, or just the neutral feeling of your various limbs, your breathing, things like that. And so now we're going to go back to the pattern of, on the exhale, just focus on the space of your mind and your body. And then on the inhale, the focus of your attention is on any appearances, thoughts, emotions, feelings, aches and pains, daydreams, anything going on in the space of your mind and body. Now go ahead and add the space of sounds. So continue with your eyes closed. Any sounds behind you, in front of you, to the left, to the right. So the space of sounds is a pretty big, expansive space. On the exhale, spread your attention to cover that space. And then on the inhale, focus your attention on any appearances in that space. And for this, we're going to go back to the rhythm of relaxed attention on the exhale, spreading out into that space. And then intensifying the concentration on the inhale, trying to focus your attention on everything in that space. Sound, body, and mind. Now you can go ahead and open your eyes and see if you can add the space of visual awareness to everything else that you have going on now. So that would include the space of your visual awareness, space of sounds, space of the body, and space of the mind. If that's too much, then you can just return to the space of visual awareness. And again, on the exhale, relaxing, expanding into that space. And on the inhale, intensifying your concentration on everything appearing in that space. And we'll do this for just a couple minutes because we're almost out of time. Okay, so you guys have all made it through the first Tibetan non-meditation practice in the book. If you all enjoyed. Just out of curiosity, how many people went back to let me put it this way, how many people did not go back to visual awareness and when we opened our eyes, did the whole space of awareness, body, mind, sound, and vision?
I did it like compartmentalized where I try to do it all at once and I wasn't really
Yeah.
able to, but I did one by one and then slowly it sort of
Okay,
came
that's excellent.
together.
Yeah. We've talked about that in prior classes, that if you can't do the whole thing, a great thing to do is to break it down into things that you can do. So that was a good instinct to do that. Then did you have, were you able to integrate it all by the end or?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe not.
I mean, it's, yeah, you had,
but I think
you had like 7 minutes, so you know, it might take a little longer than that, but that's a great way to do it. And because it is a nice meditation. I didn't want to ring the bell because it's a really nice meditation to be in that full space. So glad you guys all. Yeah, we have a question back there.
Yeah, I was a little bit, I guess confused about what you meant by like, I don't know, I'm kind of new to all this stuff, but like entering the space of like where you're like, I understand like focusing on like your mind, but
Yeah.
maybe if you could like explain a bit more about like, the first part of like entering the space of your mind and
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, and we're out of time. But let me see if I could really sum it up. It's just if you think a thought or imagine something, where does that come up? It comes up in a space that no one else can see, right? If you start waving your arms, other people can see that. If you start thinking about a balloon guy, inflatable guy waving his arms, and no one else can see that. So it's kind of that private space in your head where if you imagine something, it appears there. What do they call that? Like your mind's eye, I guess. So when thoughts appear, and everyone experiences thoughts differently, but it's sort of like that invisible space where thoughts appear and then disappear, memories, things you imagine.
So are you trying to like think of those thoughts, or are you trying to like think about where that space is?
On the exhale, focusing on just that space. And then on the inhale, the things that arise and pass away in that space. Thanks for the question.
Actually, I have a question.
Sure.
I noticed like on my inhale, especially when I'm expanded that far outwards,
Mhm.
it was actually harder for me to focus on everything. If there was a sound, like I zapped right.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right, and I'd have to be like, no, we're like expanding. There's more sounds than just you, right?
Yeah.
I was just wondering, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's just something that came up in your meditation. It's a distraction. Your mind wanted to jump. I noticed that too with the space casino. Like if there's something behind it, and then I pull my hands away, like say the camera, and my attention wants to jump to something. Your attention is always wanting to jump to things.
Feel comfortable in a liminal zone.
What do you mean by that?
What
What doesn't feel comfortable?
the attention.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Our brains
I see
are
what you're
wired
saying.
to keep us safe, monkey mind. Right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
it
exactly.
wants to go to that thing no matter what it is, and if it's in a liminal zone, like the no space.
I see what you're saying.
Like
Yeah.
I think the mind really has a hard time. Going like, oh, this is safe here.
Yeah.
And it was just funny because I could see it and feel it, and then I hear something at Chair Creek, and it zaps so quick.
Yeah.
To that one thing instead of trying to be outward.
Yeah. So it's just like in some meditation, when the thought comes up and you release it. When that distraction comes up, you just release it and go back.
And that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
All right, sweet, let's go. But it was just funny to.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's a different kind of distraction.
I feel like this meditation has let me watch my mind more than a Zen meditation.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you're watching it from a different angle. So it seems new because you've watched it from a certain angle and now you're watching it from a different angle, and it's all new and exciting. So I hope you continue with this. Yeah, it will eventually get boring, but then next week we're going to do a new angle. So
that was interesting.
Thank you for that. Okay, so with that, I'll wrap up. We're already 4 minutes over. We're going to do a quick transfer of merit. So join your palms. May any merit gained from this practice benefit all the living beings without exception, and may the wisdom that overcomes ignorance dispel the suffering of our delusions. Before you all go, I have a few announcements. We opened the Dharma Bum Temple 18 years ago to introduce Buddhist practice to those who show up. Those who lead are not nuns, monks, gurus, masters, or teachers, and are not looking for students. They are simply practitioners sharing their interpretation of the practice. Every night we have different classes led by different people from various Buddhist traditions. We have a recovery sangha that meets several times a week for anyone with addiction. And our food redistribution program is every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We have classes and programs every day, and everything we offer here is always free. The full schedule is on our website and also posted in the entryway above the shoe rack. We have a lending library. If you see a book you like, feel free to borrow it and bring it back whenever you're done with it. Please straighten your seat or cushion before you head out. If a few people could stay to close and latch the windows, that would be helpful. Thank you for being here. We wish you well and hope to see you all again, especially next week for our last final season finale for Shamatha meditation in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Thank you guys. Have a good night.